Hey everybody, thanks for joining me outside on Outside with Jeff. Be sure to hit that like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to jump right in this video, planting peppers. Let's go. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me outside on Outside with Jeff. Today we're going to be preparing this section of garden and planting our peppers. I have about 34 pepper plants that need to get put in the garden, and we're going to go ahead and start by just breaking up a little bit of weeds that started to come in this soil, raking it smooth, and we're going to get straight into planting. And I'll kind of discuss a little bit about what we're going to be doing during this process. So just start taking the hoe, and we're just disturbing anything that's tried to grow up since the last time we've done this. It's mainly little oak trees, seedlings that have came in from those whirlybirds. Get them all knocked out pretty quick. Tomato plant marker. This makes pretty quick work. That's why it's so important to stay on top of your weeds, because then you can knock them all out in just a couple minutes. Go ahead and rake it smooth. That'll help with water runoff whenever it rains. When you're watering, it'll be more distributed evenly amongst all your plants instead of running to one side of the bed or the other. All right, just like that, the bed's been prepped. Get my little hand trowel. It tries to walk off sometimes. I've got little gardeners walking around here. All right, 3 minutes later, I found the hand tool. So I'm gonna go ahead and identify what kinds I have here, what kind of pepper plants we're planting. I have 12 Poblano plants. I have 6 purple bell, 6 yellow bell, and 12 Toro. And I go through a little bit more about all these varieties in my germination video that I made earlier this spring, but we're just going to dive right into getting these planted. Now last year when I planted these, I went about a 12 to 16 inch spacing. It worked out really well. The seed packets, they'll say 12, I've seen 12 to 24, I've seen 18 to 24. I find if you go 24 inches, you're wasting a bunch of space in the bed. So I'm gonna go, I'm not gonna measure, but this is about a foot. And right now I have these plants about a foot apart. So I'm just gonna kind of go over about that much going this way in the bed. I'm gonna try to keep them in line. So we'll just get started. An important thing on peppers, you don't want to plant them any deeper than they were in the cell, because they can die. And I'm only going to pick off the bottom 2 leaves. There's 2 little bitty leaves that are growing about 1 inch above the soil block. I just popped them off. They were just growing about 1 inch above that soil block. So I'm going to come over about a foot, not exact. I put the same depth it's growing. Get it packed in real good. Go to the next plant. Same deal. I'm gonna just pull off those bottom couple leaves. So basically, I'm gonna have a pepper plant in 12 inches, approximately 12 inches in all directions. This soil's nice and loose, easy to work. Get it good and compacted in. Grab the next ones. The reason I'm planting so many peppers my kids just love them. And peppers are fairly expensive in the grocery store. I mean, you pay at least $1 a piece, you know, for a full-size bell pepper. So you might as well grow what you like, you know, what has the biggest impact on your grocery bill. You could even, with planting this many peppers, you could pick them when they're smaller, like those snack box peppers they sell at the grocery store for about $4 for a little bag. You can just pick these on the smaller side, and you can have your own snack box peppers. Any of these leaves that are touching the soil after I plant, I'm going to go ahead and just pop them right off. And I'll just continue on down the road. If I start to look like, I'm going to plant several of these, and we're going to kind of step back and take a look at how much space in the bed I've used up so far, because I do want to make sure I get some of all those varieties put in here. I don't necessarily need 12 Poblano peppers. It was just easy enough to get them all started in case some of them died, some of them didn't do as well. But as I showed you in my germination video, I was able to get 100% of those cells germinated and growed out. So I've got a bumper crop of potato, or a bumper crop of pepper plants to get put in the garden here. These have actually been in these cells a little too long, but they're still looking really good. I've got some baby peppers on a few of these. I don't remember what the maturity date was on these, but it seems like most peppers are at least 70 days. Since these plants are about, I think they're every bit of, let's see here, they should be about 45 days old. And with having some baby peppers on a few of these, I think we might start picking peppers here in about 3 weeks. We might have some baby peppers. I'm going to set this one to the side, and I'm going to switch to a different variety. Let's find them yellow bells. Yeah, here they are. My daughter has really been looking forward and telling me all the time that that I'm growing her yellow bell peppers and purple bell peppers. So I want to make sure that I get all of those planted, because I know she's really going to enjoy them. You can get your kids involved, your grandkids involved, you know, planting and the idea of growing your own food in the garden. I just think that's fantastic. Now this 12-inch spacing, it's definitely considered a intense spacing, or, you know, pretty extreme close spacing. But I don't have any problem with it in this bed. We have some really good soil nutrition. I've composted in this bed. I've done cover crops in this garden soil here. So we can get away with planting it, you know, a little more intensely, because we have that soil nutrition to back it up. Now, if your soil was not as good quality, or, you know, maybe it's your first year planting in the garden and you want to go a little bit wider spacing, you could. But I really wouldn't recommend going any more than, you know, 18 inches. I just think it's a, you know, waste of good garden space, but you can do what you want. I do plan on later on in the season I'll be planting under these peppers, because after it's time to, you know, pull these plants, I'll be using this bed for another crop. But we'll discuss that later on in the season. We'll be doing companion planting underneath these pepper plants. It's coming along really nicely. I'm going to go ahead and move to the yellow. All these plants look really healthy. Really happy with them. I have noticed lots of times those, you know, colored peppers, the plants don't seem as vigorous, but these plants all look really good. The seeds came from MI Gardener, and I'd have to say that, you know, I'm really happy with the quality of the plants that their seeds produced this year. It's my second year purchasing seed from them, and definitely happy with it. Now this is the same raised bed that has that core planted down it, which is going to help these peppers retain moisture throughout the growing season. Also, the fact that I have these tomatoes growing on the west side of the peppers, that's going to help shade them from the afternoon sun. They'll still get plenty of sun during the first part of the day, but by those tomato plants, when they grow up, it'll help shade them in the afternoon, help retain a lot of that soil moisture. And I got another one here. They're looking good. All right, next step is to water them in. I'm gonna grab the garden hose real quick and we'll get them watered in. All right, just like when you transplant anything, you want to make sure you get it a good drink of water, because all that soil around it is going to be drawing away all the moisture from that soil block, and you want to make sure that those plants don't have any more stress than they have to take on. So I just come underneath each plant, get them good and watered in. I don't like to overhead water necessarily. So I just want to keep that moisture off the leaves as much. So you just want to make sure that you get these good and watered. Don't be worried if after you transplant they kind of wilt, they start to wilt a little bit. That'll happen sometimes, just a little bit of transplant shock. They'll generally pop out of that pretty quick. It is just really important that you get them watered in really good, and it'll work out any of those air gaps, or it helps with the soil contact of the roots. You don't want the roots, you know, touching it, you know, being just stuck in the air. You want to make sure they're touching some moist soil so that they can access the water. So yeah, pretty straightforward planting. You want to make sure that you're planting the peppers at the same soil depth as they were grown in the container. I'm going to go ahead and plant out that last variety. I should be able to get another 8 pepper plants here, and that'll give us 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. I should get 28 plants in this bed. I started 36 plants, so you know, you always want to start more than you're counting on, because you don't know if you'll lose some or what'll happen, or if when you're planting them you might break some off, so you want to be prepared for the worst. But everything looks like it's going to work out for the best on these peppers. Be sure to, if you enjoy this content, be sure to hit the like button, drop a comment down below, subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing bi-weekly garden tours. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the garden, a lot of stuff up and coming, so I want to keep you guys notified, help inspire you guys to get out there to start your own gardens. So thanks again for joining me on this video. Have a great day.